Hey guys, what it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Light Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice, to see justice before it all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, so anyways, I am coming through today. It is December the 29th, 2025. In the 11 o'clock hour. Um, Today is already, but Marcello told me I should stop saying it. He's like, been telling me that, your problem is that you're trying to beat time, and you cannot beat time. Like, time is not on your side, it's not on any of our sides, right? Time is not on his side because it's one, in a way, his time is being wasted in prison for something he did not do. So time's not on his side. And he has a lot of time. He's done a lot of time, and he's has quite a bit of time left. 10 years, about 10 years left. And Lord willing, he is alive. I am alive. We are alive when that day comes. What is it now? April of 2038. If we, us, still alive, he will be freed from his wrongful conviction, right? So time in that manner is not on his side because he has done so much time was taken from him, and he has so much more time to do. So because no matter what, the time on our life is ticking, he's gonna have to find a way to fulfill whatever purpose he has behind bars. Because there's going to be a purpose in his life behind bars, right? If he's not free, it's got to be a purpose that he's behind that wall. Me, on the other hand, time is not on my side because I feel like in my life at 44, I have wasted so much time. And it was, well, in my perception, I've wasted so much time. But God has the bird's eye view where he can see everything. I can only see on set. I forgot what point of view that is, where you can see something just straight on. He can see above. He can see the past. He can see the present and the future. He sees 360, beyond 360 panoramic bird's eye view of everything. So he knows everything and how it all fits together. But with just, and it's spam. God, it's always an interruption to my call, but that reminds me to turn that down. I always forget that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have the best of videos. I'm trying the best that I really can. But I feel like I've wasted time because of thinking I was acting in purpose. I truly, truly, beyond a shadow of a doubt in my mind, thought I was supposed to be fighting for justice. So can you imagine hard down knowing this is your purpose and knowing that everything you do is going to free your husband from his wrongful conviction on the route I was going to, I thought I was put into single motherhood so that I can help other single mothers. I thought my husband was wrongfully incarcerated so that we can overcome it and that we can help those that are wrongfully incarcerated, because we wouldn't have never knew people were wrongfully incarcerated had my husband never been wrongfully incarcerated. I would have been like the holier than thous that say, well, you shouldn't have never did what you did, and don't do the crime if you can't do the time. And I have no human sympathy for you because you committed a crime. Allegedly. I would be like most of the other people on the other side of this camera that are judgmental, the ones that say, oh, I would never bring my daughter into a father-daughter dance that's in prison. Well, the reason you would never is because you never had to. I bet you the moment you were put into these shoes, you would love a father-daughter dance with your child, for your child to have with her father, or if they had something that was equivalent for boys and their father, because I think that might be more needed, but girls need their fathers too. We all need our fathers. So because you never had to, you look down on those that need to and would want to and desire to. I would be just like that. That's equivalent to, this is the craziest analogy, but that's how I communicate in analogies. I can never say what I need to really say, but I can liken it to something else, almost like metaphor, and then it explains the exact feeling I have. That's like, how you get musty. If you ever gotten musty, or somebody been musty around you, I promise you, girl, somebody else has smelt your must before you did. You'll be like, did I put my deodorant on? Am I musty? You'll ask somebody, am I musty? I know this is a bad analogy, right? But I promise you, they would have smelt you before you smell you. Once you smell you, you bad. You going to bed for real. And that's how it's like unaware of self. We're always aware of others. We're always able to critique others. We're always able to give the best advice. I would never do that. If it were me, but it's not you. But if it were me, and they take out exactly what they would do if it was them, and they just give you their biased opinion, I would never. Like, girl, I would be just like that. And I thank God that He allowed me to see the truth. But once you see the truth, you desperately want others to see the truth as well. You don't want others walking around in their funk. Now that you've discovered that you're musty, you want others to know, look, girl, you musty. And you want them to go fix it, right? But that's just not how life works. Once you discover the truth, you want everybody else to know as well. But others do not accept the truth that easily. It has to be. That's why I guess we are supposed to just tell the truth, but it's not on us to force things upon others. I'm telling you that this system is unjust, allegedly. It is. And you have a great chance of being in it, even if you are holier than thou. You choose to ignore me until you fall into this bear trap, or until one of your loved ones fall into this bear trap. And then you're like, what happened? I'm holier than thou. I could never. Like, how am I here? But anyways, I'm getting off track. So in that manner, I was like, thinking that was my purpose. So to hard down, go hard in the paint, 2+ decades, and getting 2+ decades down the road and realizing you have not changed or shifted anything in this system. If anything, the system's more allegedly corrupt than it was 20 years ago. It's worse now. you've made no impact in this. And you wasted those 20 years. And then today is exactly 2 weeks since my cousin passed unexpectedly. So you're like, dang, he got his bike up out the car. He was just walking. I'm about to walk too. But you to have thought that I was really pursuing my purpose for that long, and now being like, oh, whoa, wait, that might not have been your purpose, and you spent that long in it. How much time do you have left to actually figure out, one, because you still don't know what else your purpose is besides justice? So now you're desperately trying to, because I'm like, Lord, that was one of the last conversations. I told you about the last conversation with my cousin before he passed. And I was telling him that one of my fears would be to pass and not to have fulfilled my purpose on this earth. And I have to return back to my creator and tell him, I tried, I just didn't. I don't know what happened. I dropped the ball. Like, that would be so, that's scary. To have not fulfilled what God put you on this earth for. We don't know the time frame. Usually how it is, the person you think is going to pass, don't be the one to pass. It be someone you don't think is going to pass. Just as a little quick thing, Marcello had just told me that he has to make peace with, they told him that a family member of his did not have long to live. He's very much in a very similar spot as my cousin Mikey was. They both was on dialysis for a very, 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 very long time. And Marcello's like, well, he is one of the ones that really have been there for me on this journey besides, myself, he was saying. He said, he really been there for me, and now I'm going to have to accept because they were saying he didn't have long to be here. And I was like, dang. And he's kind of like down on his luck, allegedly having a hard time finding a place to live and dealing with very bad health issues. And it really, I'm like, no, like we could pray against this. I don't like to just accept that. And I was like, dang, I need to make a GoFundMe to try to raise, money to help him to not have to deal with being allegedly having to figure out housing while going through the most. And my cousin had just had his kidney transplant, and it was successful. So at this state, it was a successful kidney transplant. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish, the best for him, just like for, so all of a sudden, Marcello's preparing to lose his loved one. But unexpectedly, I lost my loved one. That wasn't even expected. He was healed. What happened? I wasn't expecting that. So I was saying, oh, I need to get my cousin a GoFundMe. I need to help him with a GoFundMe. And the thing was, my cousin passed before he did. Didn't even expect that. Just as my daughter, she was having a end of school year. This has been rough for my daughter. My daughter failed her classes. She's in the nursing program. She don't allegedly know if they're going to put her out or whatever. She's been working so hard. When my cousin passed that day, because he passed in the middle of the night, she had a test. She could not miss school. She failed the test by a .02. like this much. They had no grace on her that she had just lost a family member. Um, so we don't know what's going to happen. And I told Money that I actually have been there. I really have been there. So I'm not telling her nothing from a point that I have not been. I'm not just like the holier than nows that are telling you I would never. And even when you're going through and you try to reach out to others, and they tell you that they just I just gave it. I love this analogy because I gave it over to the Lord and He worked it out. Like, tell me the middle. Tell me how you gave it to the Lord, but tell me the human part where it still bothered you. You still had sleepless nights. You still you know what I mean? And then He worked it out. Stop cutting that middle out. It's not that simple. I can't follow your testimony if you tell me because it wasn't even easy for me to give it over to the Lord. You know what I mean? Like, I tried many times and I think I went and picked it back up. Like, tell me those misses. Tell me those. I almost did it. I almost gave it all over to the Lord. But then somehow my human just came back and started worrying because He didn't come through in the time that I thought He was going to come through. And it was hard for me to accept God's timing. And those stories are what we really need to hear. And that is what we can follow more than that clean, clear, I would say it's more like an Instagrammable testimony. The perfect filter applied testimony. Tell me those hard nights. Tell me those nights where you really felt like, I don't even want to wake up tomorrow, allegedly. Tell me those stories. That would bring me closer. And to hear that you got through that, oh baby, you got through that, I can get through that. That's going to help me more than that. I turned it over to the Lord and He worked it out. Like, girl. But yeah, so we weren't even prepared for nothing like this. And wow. And then another instance, my daughter had it was supposed to be a celebration we were on staycation. It was supposed to be the end of her school year. It's been really tough for her. Having the kids, going through different issues that that would be her testimony and her story to tell, but it has not been a bed of roses, dealing with the kids and things, right? And she put a party together for her friends. And she was like, it's going to be a pajama party. We're going to eat. We're going to do this. We're going to have fun. And it was one person that could not be in attendance because they had a love member. I mean, not a love member, a family member that was being put in hospice. And this was kind of their last few moments. And my daughter was like, it's more important for you to be there than to be here. You take care of your family because, but did not know because the night of the party, 12 o'clock a.m. passed, and then by 4 a.m. we were losing a loved one. She was losing a cousin that she really grew up with. Told y'all that story about Money when I was picking her up. She went through a lot being the daughter of an incarcerated citizen. And her father's wrongfully incarcerated. And that adds insult to injury. It's already hard when your parent is incarcerated. But you can kind of move forward with your life when you know that they actually did something to be there. But when you know they are wrongfully incarcerated, it's harder to swallow that pill. It's harder to understand. It's harder to stop the feelings of anger because I don't know. Injustice does bring on anger. But I had went through so much with the counselors calling me and saying, "Oh, your daughter's crying uncontrollably. I don't even know what to do for her. All she keeps saying is, I just want my daddy. I just want my daddy." And nothing can console her but her daddy. I'm not her daddy. I'm her mother picking her up from school. But she wants her father. And at that time, Marcello was the furthest away. He was like 5 hours or something. We couldn't see her daddy except for every month or 2 months in between. And the calls were very expensive. Like, they're very expensive now. They were very expensive then. They're like $5 a call. I could not afford that. And it was $5 for a 15-minute call at that time. Now it's $5 for about a 30-minute call. It's for something, almost $5 for a 30-minute call. But I couldn't afford that back then. I made $5.15 an hour. And then I moved up a little bit when I started working overnight, the graveyard shift, which does put you into a early grave. You knock years off of your life working overnight. I made about $7.25 at that point, but it still was not enough to accommodate her seeing her father, how much she wanted to see her father. Like, a father is usually in the household with you. Mine was, so I knew how it was to see him getting ready for work every morning, putting his honey buns into his lunch pail because he was a construction worker, and being able to see him come home and kick back and put his feet up on the stool and watch news all evening. I know how that feels. I know how it feels to wake up and hear my mother and my father having conversations as my mother is getting ready for work. I know that feeling. So quite often I'm seeing my father. She had to see her father every couple months for a few hours, right? And we would always try to make her take a nap before, so that I could just carry her out the prison, because if she was awake while she was leaving him, it would be like so many tears. And then that's when I came in trying to compensate. Don't cry, don't cry. We'll go to such and such place and have fun instead. Which, that's my bad. I didn't allow her to feel those feelings because it hurt me to see her like that, right? But she needed to still feel those feelings. So, yeah. I got completely off track. I was going to tell y'all about visitation, what happened. But anyways, I guess it went how it went. From this point on, I'm taking it day by day. I pray that God shows me my purpose for today. Since I'm kind of all off about my overall life's purpose, please, Lord Jesus, help me fulfill the purpose that you gave me in today. I am alive today at this moment. What is my purpose in this moment today? And please, if it be your will, let me fulfill the purpose in today. And by chance you wake me up tomorrow, Lord, please help me to fulfill that purpose. All right, guys. It's your girl Cadillac.